Tonight I'm going to be talking about the dimensions of thought. If there's power in what you think about, I think we need to really, really dive into what's inside of us, what are we thinking about, and ultimately, what's in our minds. So I'm going to be reading part 2, The Dimensions of Thought, God is a Perfect Listener, How He Demonstrates His Love for Us During the Most Difficult Times. It's a book that I made, that I wrote, sorry. Well, you could say I made it too, so I start with some questions. What are you thinking? What are your thoughts? Where are your thoughts leading you? How have your thoughts shaped your life? What is thought? According to the dictionary, thought is an idea or opinion produced by thinking or occurring suddenly in the mind. The action or process of thinking. So if thought is the action or process of thinking, what actually is thinking? Thinking is the process of using one's mind to consider or reason about something. A person's ideas or opinions, thoughts, or meditations. Do your thoughts bring you freedom? Do they trap you in a place of no escape? Many people, many cultures have taken a lot of time and energy in exploring ways to justify the dimensions of our thoughts. Religions of the world like to explain these dimensions of the mind. Hindus believe that there are 7 dimensions of the mind. In a nutshell, the first dimension is inside of physical objects that are not seen or touched. The second dimension are all the physical objects that can be seen and touched. The third dimension is the interrelated magnetic forces that exist between people and their physical things. The fourth dimension entails awareness, cognizing the interrelated forces of the fifth, fourth, and third dimensions. A natural state for those who meditate. The fifth dimension is awareness of forms in their totality in progressive states of manifestation. The sixth dimension is the rarefied area of the mind where forms are conceived or inner sounds and colors. The seventh dimension is the awareness explained into endless inner space. So that leaves me with a question. So what is a dimension? According to the definition, a measurable extent of some kind, such as length, breadth, depth, or height, an aspect or feature of a situation, problem, or thing, form or shape to particular measurements. According to physics, the first dimension is length, the second dimension is height and length, the third dimension involves depth and gives all objects a sense of area. The fourth dimension is time, which governs the property of all known matter at any given point. Along with these 3 dimensions, knowing an object's position in time is essential to plotting its position in the universe. The fifth dimension is where possibility arises. A fifth dimensional being would see a world slightly different from our own that would give us a means of understanding and similarity and differences between our world and other possible ones. In the sixth dimension, we would see a plane of possible worlds where we could compare and position all the possible universes that start with the same initial conditions as this one. The seventh dimension, you have access to the possible worlds that start with different conditions. In this dimension, everything is different from the beginning of time. The eighth dimension gives us a plane of such possible universe histories, each of which begins with initial conditions and branches out infinitely. So there's no end. Each of which begins with initial conditions and branches out infinitely. The ninth dimension, we can compare all the possible universe histories, starting with all the possible laws of physics and initial conditions. In the 10th and final dimension, we arrive at a point in which everything is possible and imaginable. Beyond this, nothing can be imagined by us. Looking at both dimensional theories of the world's view and on the definitions presented above, it would be safe to say that the dimension of thought is a concept that would be virtually impossible to explain. Some would say I would have to commit my entire life trying to prove my work and justify my assumptions on these dimensions of thought through scientific methodologies, promoted through a systemic institutional conformity. However, I'm here to tell you that the answer to the dimensions of thought lies in truth. The only truth that I need is in the book that was written for mankind, full of origin, life applications, and mysteries. Take